Good evening, good evening, good evening. I am Kaleem Shabazz, the president of the Atlantic City branch of the NAACP, welcoming you to the January 17th edition of your NAACP Speaks. And not only the January 17th edition, our 4-year anniversary edition of your NAACP Speaks. Today marks 4 years that we have been on WEHA 88.7 and 100.3 FM radio, 4 years consecutively, 4 years of interviews, 4 years of special guests, 4 years of announcements, 4 years of highlights in African-American history, 4 years of mistreatment by Yolanda Melville, Esquire, of myself. We say object. That's funny. 4 years of bringing you the Atlantic City branch NAACP mission, programs, initiatives, and also, of course, underlining our national program structure initiatives, hearing from some of our national leadership. And we thank you. I forgot that we had our national chairperson on the radio, in addition to Sister Dukes. So
That's right.
We've had a lot of important, everyone is important, but a lot of people who are leaders in their field. And we thank that. Tonight, we're going to have a very special guest, a history maker, the Honorable Thelma Witherspoon, who was the first woman of color elected in Hamilton Township in New Jersey to her local municipal governing board. And we salute her and lift her up on with our history-making co-host, Yolanda Melville, Esquire, the first woman of color to be a partner in Cooper Levison. And I really think, I said at the Martin Luther King program today at St. James, Yolanda, that we have to do something for Women's History Month. But I am serious. We have you, we have Thelma, we have Sonia Harris, who's retiring, but she was the first person of color to be a clerk in the Atlantic County government, another first. And I think it's good that we recognize the women of color who made such important steps. Rita Mack, just thinking about her, an outstanding entrepreneur in the McDonald's world, made great strides. Our sister, the vice president at ACCC, Dr. Gabber, and all the first and outstanding women, Crystal Lewis, who is the first woman of color to, the first woman to be the head of Department of Public Works in Atlantic City, and probably one of the only women in the state to head the Department of Public Works. So that's something to work on. Having said that, let me, as we do every week, give a shout out to Deacon Hawks, the owner, the president, the CEO of WHA. We thank him for all of his support. Martin Luther King activities, he walked with us. He was at the program in St. James. He helped us with the radiothon, as he does every year, and donated. And we thank him. A little later in the program, we're going to read the list of donors so far. And people still, if you want to donate to the NAACP to help us with our programs, our nonpartisan voter registration and voter education and civic involvement, our LGBTQ plus committee, Silver Linings, our scholarships, and our other initiatives. You can still donate. You can send a check or a money order. Please do not send cash in the mail to ACNACP, P.O. Box 1182, Absecon, New Jersey, 08201. P.O. Box 1182, Absecon, New Jersey, 08201. And all the funds will be used judiciously to help the NAACP in our goal to make sure that everyone has social, political, economic parity and justice. Yolanda, before I turn it over to you, I just want to report that on this Martin Luther King holiday just passed yesterday, that we had an outstanding day in my mind. We had good weather for the walk. A couple of hundred people walked with us to the Civil Rights Garden, where we had a brief observance and rang the bell in the Civil Rights Garden, walked back to St. James AME Church, where we were fortunate to have our program in St. James AME Church, where we've had for really over 40 years. Reverend Coxum and the officers and the members of St. James welcomed us with open arms, as they've done every year on Martin Luther King Day. We'll always have our program there, and they are always warm and welcoming to the NAACP. And more than that, every time we want to have a civil rights or a social justice activity, St. James opens their doors. And we want to thank them for their support, their strong, continuing support. And really, 4 years, it seems like it was only yesterday that we started the program. Can't say enough about the support of this radio station, WEHA, helping us with the broadcast free of charge for the candidates night, the radiothon, the Zooms that we've done for criminal justice reform and interaction with young men of color. This radio station has been a strong support to the Atlantic City NAACP. And we thank Brother Hawks, First Lady Hawks, our sterling engineering staff, Kristen, Super Steph, and Tehran, who help us and keep us going. Very happy with them. Very briefly, the NAACP Martin Luther King 2023 activities have come to a close. We started Thursday night, and I'll let Yolanda talk a little bit more about that. We had a showing of the film Fannie Lou Hamer, and we are the first city in the 15-city tour on that. That started us off. Friday, I was honored to speak at Beth Israel Synagogue in Northfield, and also to hear 5 outstanding young people, high school seniors, talk about their vision for a better world. And also on Sunday, honored again to speak at Margate Community Church. And all the time underlining our theme for the MLK events and for the year coming forth, uniting against hate, anti-Semitism, and Islamophobia. Uniting against hate, anti-Semitism, and Islamophobia. Uniting against hate, anti-Semitism, and Islamophobia. And I said it 3 times because, as I've said over the weekend, one of my educational colleagues said that you have to repeat something 3 times for people actually grasp that. So we're fighting with that. And today, the highlight of our Martin Luther King activities for 2023, a very successful walk. And we hats off to the Atlantic City Police Department, who are escorts, Chief Sarkos and all the women and men of that department, Chief Evans and the women and men of the fire department who also were there with us. We thank them. Commissioner Corsi, who was also the Chief of Staff for Mayor Small, for making sure that the Civil Rights Garden was open for us to receive us, and also the men and women of the Atlantic City Department of Public Works for the work that they did to prepare that. All in all, Yolanda, very good day. And then our radiothon, our 3rd annual radiothon, which was a huge success. Thanks in no particular order to Helen and KJ Butter, our outstanding DJ, who put together, along with Yolanda's help, the videos, Nastasia Davis, Angel and Yolanda Shabazz, our telephone operators, and all those who gave. And we will list those names before the show is over. So having said that, Yolanda, very successful, in my mind, Martin Luther King weekend, Martin Luther King activities, again, starting Thursday night at Stockton. Hats off to Brian Jackson of Stockton, our good friend, Dr. Kesselman, who brought remarks, and all the people who attended. We had a standing room only audience. Mike Bees for the sandwiches, which everybody agreed was excellent. And I don't know about anybody else, Yolanda, but I get revved up for King Weekend. I try to measure my involvement and my output from one King Weekend to another King anniversary. And I think that we've done some very good things. We haven't done enough. We have to keep working, but I think we made a step forward. So having said that, the queen of radio, and this is going to be her last broadcast unless we make an emergency supplication to get her to come back because of her professional duties and her family commitments. And it's been a pleasure, an absolute pleasure, working with you, Yolanda, for the last 4 years, even though I've been mistreated and the calculation of the guests has been grossly distorted. But even having that, it's been an honor, it's been a privilege, it's been a pleasure. And we wish you well. And just remember, if we get in a bind and we call you, you can come back as a relief pitcher, as they say in baseball. Having said that, Yolanda Melville, Esquire, good evening.
Good evening, President. Yeah, I'm always around. Mm-hmm. I just think that it's always best to just continue the legacy and move the legacy forward. So I look forward to hearing how many guests you do not have over the next couple of episodes. So I'm not here to fight with you, but I'm sure your guest count will still continue to be lower and lower.
Look like I'm in a cycle. I can't get out of it. Yeah.
See, I want to just touch on what you said earlier about the film screening. Mm-hmm. Looking back over this weekend, since the last time we were on the radio show, I thought about all of the people that we asked to help over the last week. And we didn't get any no's. All we got were yeses. How can I help you? What can I do? How can I support? And I think that is a testament of your good leadership, President, but also just the integrity of the brand and what you have put forward. So we want to just, thank you and salute you on Dr. Martin Luther King Day on how many yeses and how this brand and this work continues to grow in our community through your leadership. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let's talk about this film screening on Thursday. It was a special film screening of the short film called Fanny. It was brought to us by a group called Chromatic Black. And please, I ask you to Google them and find more information. Dr. Hall was with us last week to talk more about them. But Dr. Hall came up from the DMV area, and he presented the film to us. And we had about a 25-minute discussion with Ralph Hunter, Reverend Miller, myself, and you, President, talking about the importance of voting rights and also the importance of Fannie Lou Hamer's legacy to all of us. And so it was a very important documentary. It was a great kickoff to MLK week or weekend. And we want to thank our sponsors again. I know you mentioned Dr. Kesselman and Brian Jackson from Stockton University. We want to thank the staff of Stockton University, a woman named Tess, and gosh, his name is escaping me now. Who was the IT person?
Oh, Kirby.
Kirby, yes. Kirby. They were phenomenal. So I want to give a special shout out to them as well for the work they did. The Next Gen Alumni Leadership Council under Dr. Hall's leadership, the Fellowship of Churches, our brand, NAACP Atlantic City branch, and Congregation Beth Israel, and the City of Atlantic City for co-partnering with us on the Family Hamer documentary, as well as all of the events moving to the culmination of Dr. King's great day. So we want to just thank them. I also want to just make sure everyone knows, I know we're giving back to the organization, but if you are not yet a member, there were so many people who at the St. James service had never come to St. James and thought how beautiful the place was, and really felt inspired by the cross-section, race, gender, age. It was beautiful to watch. Yeah. And so I hope that if anyone's listening to our radio show who was there and you'd like to become a member of the NAACP, you can do so. All are welcome to become members. Please send your name, address, email address, and phone number to Atlantic City NAACP, PO Box 1182, Absecon, New Jersey, 08201, or you can always go into naacp.org/become a member, 08401 for Atlantic City. Type search, and we are branch number 2077B. So please do that. Also, because we are going to be having an elected official coming up shortly, I want to make sure everyone knows before I leave here, you have to register to vote. Every year there is an election, so we need to make sure that you are registered to vote for our next election coming up this year. In order to do that, to register to vote in New Jersey, you must be a United States citizen, at least 17 years of age, although you may not vote until you're 18. You have to be a resident of your county for at least 30 days prior to election. And so long as you or someone you may know is not incarcerated, meaning if you know someone who is formerly incarcerated, has a condition of probation or parole, he or she or they can register and can vote. So we need to make sure that everyone knows you can vote if you are previously incarcerated and you're no longer incarcerated, or you have a condition of parole or probation. So please do that. Let someone know. And that's all I have for my announcements, President.
Thank you so much, Yolanda Melville, Esquire. We appreciate you. Now, after we just celebrated Martin Luther King Day, fresh off that, Dr. Cupanini, you're on. Thank you, sir. You're muted.
Mr. President, I appreciate the invitation. And for the Queen of Radio, listen, if we have to petition to get you back and get you anytime we need you, we're going to have to do that.
Yes, sir.
So don't be surprised if you see all those people with picketed all over the place, because you've done a tremendous job, and I hope you continue to help us.
Of course. Thank you, Doctor.
All right. So we're here again, back on a discussion about this plague that we have, this COVID-19. As of the week of January 12th to the 15th, so far we've had 40,659 cases, and with 165 deaths. Now, the good thing about it is we were able, at least on record, to have about 75% of the population vaccinated, fully vaccinated. And I think that speaks to the number of unfortunate incidents that we have in terms of infections and death. Otherwise, you will have been higher than that. So, which is a good thing. I mean, we'll recall the numbers that came out from China, talking about 60,000 cases that they've had the same period. But remember, the news is out there that there's a lot of funerals were going on, as well as crematoriums. So I don't know if those the numbers they're giving us is official or not. But important thing is here in the United States, because of the efforts of the government and everybody else involved, including what we've been doing on this radio station, I think we're beginning to wane a little bit. But at the same time, we can't let our guard down. We still got to worry about the RSV, about the flu symptoms, which is still, in full effect. So we got to continue to do what we're supposed to do. Again, simple things are always the best and the easiest to do. Wear your mask, 6 feet apart, and wash your hands. So it's always going to work. It's always going to work, for as long as we do those things. And of course, social gathering, we got to limit that as much as possible. I can't help but, I overheard there's some hecklers out there. Well, you can imagine what Dr. Martin Luther King had to deal with during his days. So that's nothing. This is just par for the course. We'll continue to do what we need to do regardless. Okay. So for as long as there are people there who are willing to listen to us and associate with us and help us to further this campaign, we'll continue to do it. At least for to save our community and those who choose to listen. It is working. We are hearing a lot of people coming back and telling us different stories. So we overheard your shows. You guys are doing a good job, and people are listening. And that's all that's important. As long as we can touch one life, that's enough. To me, that's a battle won. We have so many people that come into the office and that tell us the stories that they are very happy and grateful for the information. You'll be surprised how much or how little people know about this. But because of the show, it has provided them enough knowledge to make responsible decisions. So hopefully we'll be able to continue these services and provide the help that folks need and the enlightenment that they require. So that said, if you have any questions, I'll be willing to answer them.
I love that. I love that. And Dr. you're touching on something that I talked about earlier, the importance of radio. So it seems like a lot of your patients listen to the radio and how they're getting information.
That's right.
Where the information matters. And if they're getting it from a trusted source like you, and then it's important that they're telling you, they're validating that radio does work in the transmission of information. Especially
the radio show that we're on, that they really appreciate it. They come back and there's a lot of feedback that we're getting. And that's really happy. It makes you happy that you're doing something.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you.
Like I said, you're not going anywhere. Okay. if we have to pick it, we have to pick at the office. Okay. Because you're gonna come back. Okay. Okay. We need your help. We need your help. Yes.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
So if you see pickets out there, don't call the law enforcement. It's your loyal audience and your co-workers saying we need you.
We need you. That's right. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
And no, we're not gonna we're not gonna give you any notification. We're just gonna show up. That's all.
That's right.
That's good. That's good.
All right. Okay. And it's important. It's really uplifting when you have folks who are dedicated and doing everything they can to help the community and to help people who choose to listen. And that's really a good feeling.
Absolutely. It does.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
So true. I wouldn't know what to do. President Shabazz and I were talking about, I wouldn't know what to do if I didn't have an opportunity to serve. If not just every day, but at least on Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah, that's right. Especially when you're going to have naysayers out there, but that's fine. It's par for the course. Right. If you can't stand the heat, you can't do this business.
That's right.
That's the way it is. You can't do it. And I'm sure in your profession, you're used to that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You gotta do it 1,000 times better than most people. So
okay.
I'm very used to it.
That's good. That's excellent. Whatever you're doing, good luck, and we wish you well. And God bless. Okay?
God bless. Thank you. Okay. I'll be around.
Thank you. Thanks for that. You got a witness. Okay.
I'll just enjoy your studio audience one day.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's good. All right. Bye-bye. Okay. You take it easy. Okay.
You too.
Thank you. President, goodbye and good night. And
thank you, Doctor. We appreciate you. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
So I think we still have Alex to round out our 7 half hour or 5 o'clock hour.
Yes, how's everybody doing today? Happy
Alexander Bland, how you, sir?
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. I'm going to miss you, Yolanda, of course, my sister. Whatever. I'll see you again.
You'll always see me.
Right, yeah. So, but I want to get right into it because January, is historically a difficult time for blood collections with an increased seasonal illness and, our cold weather. In 1969, January of 1969 was declared National Blood Donor Month as a time to encourage blood donations and honor those who are selfless enough to donate and recognize the importance of giving blood. Now, community, it is specifically important to give blood. You know, blood donations who are Black play a critical role in helping people with sickle cell disease, the most common genetic blood disease in the United States. Patients with this disease may rely on regular blood transfusions throughout their lives to help prevent sickle cell complications, such as organ and tissue damage. Other complications of sickle cell are severe pain and strokes. So it's important for Black people to give blood, you know, and I don't know if I failed to mention, but January is National Blood Donor Month, you know. It is essential that the blood that they receive be the most compatible match possible, which generally comes from someone of the same race or similar ethnicities. Today, there aren't enough blood donors to help meet this urgent need. African-American individuals make up 13% of the United States. Some of us know that, some of us don't. But less than 3% of blood donations are from African-Americans, you know? So that's a trend, you know, doing this work, being on the radio, you know, you learn like, wow, like we are underrepresented when it comes to stuff, you know? So by Black people donating blood, you may make a difference in the life of patients with sickle cell disease, as well as moms with, listen, y'all, it's not just sickle cell disease, you know, Black moms with complicated childbirths,
right? People
fighting cancer, people with accident or trauma victims being raced to emergency room, and more, you know. We are compatible with each other. You know, my blood is going to be more compatible to President Kaleem's thing, you know, no disrespect. Susie, you know, from Egg Harbor. I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out there. Your single blood donation may even help save more than one life. Let's speak about how does race and ethnicity affect blood. I know I don't got a lot of time. I'm trying to look at the clock. Antigen is a substance on red blood cells and helps to determine your blood type. The four main blood types are A, B, O, and AB. There are more than 600 known antigens, and some are unique to specific racial and ethnic groups. For example, many African-American individuals and people of African descent have a rare blood type, such as U negative and Duffy negative. Additionally, about half of the African-American population has type O positive blood, which is the most transfused blood in the United States. I know that's mine. No, I'm sorry, I'm O negative. Type O positive blood is one of the first types to run out during a shortage due to high demand, on which is why O positive donors of all backgrounds are needed to maintain a healthy blood supply. Some patients require an closer blood type match than the main blood types. In fact, a person with sickle cell disease may need a precise pairing with a blood donor, especially if frequent transfusions are necessary. If a person receives a transfusion of a blood type that is not a close match, they may form antibodies against the mismatched antigens, and that's not good. We talked about the complications. So to help avoid transfusion-related complications, a patient is more likely to find the most compatible blood match from donors of the same race or ethnicity. Please go on redcrossblood.org and find out where you can donate blood to. It's something so small. They give you snacks afterwards. They might even give you a gift card. You know, I got a $15 Amazon gift card the last time I donated my blood. But it's just health. You know, it's not just like the vaccine. You know, you don't get the vaccine just for you. You don't donate blood, of course, just for you, because it's a little pinch. It might hurt, but listen, we don't know where that blood goes to. We don't know who we helping, but we know we are helping somebody if you donate blood. So that's all I got to say. Thank you, President Shabazz. Thank you, Vice President Melville. I love you both.
Alex, thank you. Alex is our registered nurse, and he always brings some interesting timely, relevant information. And we appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. And,
hey, Dr. Thelma, I'm sorry. How you doing? I ain't see you.
So we really appreciate that. Our special 5:30 guest has arrived. But before we get to her, let me really read quickly the donors to the Radiothon. And you, as Yolanda said, you can still donate. We thank all of our donors, no matter what they gave, the largest gift to the smallest gift, and even those who wanted to give but had nothing to give. We hope that your circumstance will soon change so you are able to give. Our largest donor, Bart Blastine, $2,500. Phil Weinberg, $150. Officer Lee, Hoon Lee, $200. Emil Robinson, Emmanuel Neal, Larry Jowers, Diane Jowers, $25 each. Councilwoman Marshall, Councilman Kurtz, Council President Randolph, Councilman Moorshed, Councilman Zia, $100 apiece. Rabbi Weiss, $250. Doug Stanger, $180. Senator Vince Policino, Assemblyman Guardian, $100 apiece. Former freeholder Charles Garrett, $100. Habib Rahim, $50. Yolanda Shabazz, $50. Grace Family Church under the leadership of Bishop Hargrove, $200. Donna Versi, $250. Thank you all. KJ Butter, our outstanding disc jockey, $100. The Hawks Family Businesses, $200. That's the radio station. That's the hall, and that's the moving and janitorial service. William Speedy Marsh, $50. Angel Shabazz, $50. Anna Barker, $50. Christina Noble, $25. Yolanda Melville and our studio audience combined, $300. Kaleem Shabazz, $100. They are our donors as of now, but you can still donate. As Yolanda said, you can send a check or money order. Please don't send cash. P.O. Box 1182, Absecon, New Jersey, 08201 Atlantic. Make the check out to NAACP. Yolanda, having said that, we have our special guest, who I'm going to let you introduce since this is your last day and you take all the guests anyway. I just let this be your guest.
Thank you, President. Dr. Thelma Witherspoon. She is a committee member in Hamilton Township. She is a history maker. She's no stranger to our show, no stranger to our candidates forums, no stranger to our branch, and she certainly was no stranger to our MLK celebrations this week. We want to uplift you, have a conversation with you, and to kick off our 4th year of having this radio program, we only thought it'd be fitting to invite you to be our first guest of the year. So thank you for being with us. And we'd like to hear more about your story, because I think you tell an incredible story. And it's not often that you get to be the guest. You have your own radio show as well. So we want to give you a platform to talk about yourself. And so I want to leave the floor for you and not spoil most of your bio, but let you have an opportunity to give it. So welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much for having me to be a part of the show. I was just hearing that you're leaving.
I'm still around. I'm just morphing into other responsibilities. You know how that goes?
I do.
So we all see each other in different circles, and I'm just moving into a different circle and giving back in other ways. So I'm still here, but in other capacities.
I am so grateful that you asked me to be a part of the show today, and much success on whatever you're going to do. I know that you'll be an asset wherever you are.
Thank you.
I'm excited. As you know, I am newly elected. I got sworn in on January the 3rd, 2023 at the Hamilton Township Municipal Building as the first African-American woman to ever be elected in the township. And it was huge. I was very excited about it. I didn't run on color. I ran on the issues, but I was so excited that the residents chose me to be their representative, one of their representatives.
Let me ask you this again, Dr. Witherspoon. Thank you. We're so proud of you. You are a history maker. You are someone who has a long history of public service, of community service, of giving back. And we're just, the people of Hamilton Township made a wise decision. And we salute them and we thank them for what they've done. Can you tell the radio audience, and I know people listen to you on radio and they hear you, they know your family and they see you preach and sing and all, but tell the audience, if you would, 3 things about Dr. Thelma Witherspoon that is not in your official bio and the resume that you present to the public.
I'm an open book. So people basically know just about everything about me. You know, our family has a long history in Atlantic City and Atlantic County. My parents came here in the early 60s. My parents have a church, started a church in 1976 in the Inlet, and has helped many, many people have come through those doors. And we were the first to have a food pantry. You know, back in the day, took the young people on vacation. Mm-hmm. And someone was reminding me about that. There was a sign on the door, "We're on vacation, we'll see you next week." Went down to Florida and North Carolina. The young people flew on airplanes, had never done that before. You know, so a lot of my public service, maybe people don't know because they know me, right, but don't know it came from my mom and my dad. So that's one thing that they may not know, that this was instilled in me from what I saw them doing. Mm-hmm. And just being able to carry on the legacy is an honor.
Do you have any hobbies that people don't know about?
Well, I sing, I travel, I read. I like to read. You know, I just joined Oprah's club.
Oh, okay.
So maybe people don't know that.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's something new. You know,
then you recently take an international trip.
Well, you knew that because that was on Facebook. I went to Africa on last year. I've been to India. Mm-hmm. I had the opportunity to go to Cape Town, South Africa. It was actually a birthday gift. Mm-hmm. I turned 60 last year.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, so it was amazing because I went to see Whitney Houston. I don't get a chance to do too much recreational things, but over the holiday, I work at Atlantic County Special Services. And that's like my second career. Everybody knows I was in government for 35 years, retired in 2016. And so while I was out, I went to the movies. Mm-hmm. I wanted to see Whitney Houston. It's a life story. And it was an honest and transparent film, a very good film. Rodney Jerkins was the musical director. Mm-hmm. And so when I walk in, I asked the young man, I see a sign, youth, children, adults, and senior citizens. Mm-hmm. So I said, well, how old do you have to be a senior citizen? They said 60. I said, oh, I guess that's me. It doesn't seem so old once you turn 60. It doesn't seem old anymore, but
true.
It's just been enjoyable,
Absolutely. How did you feel as a child, watching your parents give back? Was it something that you didn't realize it was different than other kids? Or did you, how were you as a child, looking back on what your parents were doing?
Well, we thought that was normal.
Yeah.
From where we came from, we thought that's what everybody did. Well, we later found out that everybody didn't do that. But that's how we grew up. So it was just a part of what we did. It's not, right. It was nothing out the ordinary.
Right.
Helping people. So that was just something. And all of my family, they do good in their own way, in their own right. Now my sister got sworn in today.
Right.
As a part of the executive branch for the Atlantic City NAACP. So I was real happy. We're all doing our own thing, but the roots still stem from our parents and from what they've done. They're originally from North Carolina, and I have a Southern drawl, and everybody thinks I'm from down south, but I'm not. I'm born and raised in Atlantic City. Now living in Hamilton Township.
Wonderful.
Dr. Witherspoon, let me ask you this. You are newly elected, as you said. What would you tell young women of color about public service?
Well, public service is something that you will have to enjoy, number one, doing. You can't do it if you don't enjoy doing it. It's very rewarding. It's a lot of work, but the rewards are much greater than the work. When you can see that you've made a difference, you know, where you are. And I don't come into Hamilton Township like I know everything, because there's going to be things that I will have to learn, but I do have some experience by being the president of the school board in Atlantic City with a $200 million budget and $100 million in capital projects, where we broke ground for New York Avenue School and Sovereign Avenue. The board, we've done a lot, and I was very proud of it. You can't do anything by yourself. You need a team. And as they say, teamwork makes a dream work. You know, so you have to be able to work on a bipartisan, with a bipartisan effort, you know, in order to get something done. There are 2 Democrats, 2 Republicans, soon to be another Republican after the meeting on tonight. When everybody's seeing this, this is being aired, I'll be at the meeting in Hamilton Township on tomorrow night.
Now, you have a 3-year term or a 4-year term, Doctor?
It's a 3-year term. 3-year term.
It's a 3-year term?
Mm-hmm.
So
it is a different form of government than what I'm used to. You know, Atlantic City has council.
Right.
You know, and we have committees. And you elect a mayor in Atlantic City and Pleasantville and Absecon and maybe Galloway. But in Hamilton Township and Egg Harbor Township, their form of government is that you run for a seat, and then the mayor is picked among the 5 that are on the committee.
Oh, the committee, okay, picks the mayor.
The committee picks the mayor. So you can have a different mayor every year.
Okay.
From the form of government.
So the mayor doesn't have a term. Every time you reorganize, there could theoretically be a new mayor, right?
He theoretically could be the mayor, but you don't run as the mayor.
No, I'm saying when you have your reorganization meeting.
Correct. You run as a committee person.
Right.
Right.
You run for a seat.
Right.
And then the mayor is picked at reorganization.
Interesting.
Very
different form of government.
Right.
That's informational for our listeners, because we're all in Atlantic County, but you can have a different form of government depending on where you live.
Correct.
So, go ahead.
Real quick, now, Yolanda, you say you have 5 committee persons?
Right. Right now, 1 resigned as of the 10th.
Right.
So we'll be selecting someone else tomorrow night, but it's a 5-member board.
Okay. All right.
5-member board.
Okay. Go ahead, Yolanda.
What are your initiatives? What would you like to focus on in your first few years?
Well, one thing is bringing more transparency. You know, a lot of people are not aware. Living in an urban environment is totally different from living offshore. And the needs are different, somewhat the same, but different. And a lot of people, they're into what they're doing. They elect people and want them to be responsible for making sure that the town is ran properly. You do have people who are now engaged, and they're coming to meetings to find out about what's going on in their township. And that's a good thing. You know, I don't want everyone to always agree with me, because sometimes you need to see things from a different perspective.
Right.
When you're going to make a decision. So right now, I bring some experience, but I'm also learning things that I'm not maybe familiar with, but I'm a fast learner. So, you know, it won't take me long. I'm a hard worker. I'm going to read the packet that they put out on Thursday. I'm not going to get there and rubber stamp. I'm going to read everything in the packet to make sure that I'm making a conscious decision and giving a correct vote based on the decisions that based on the information that I've read.
We definitely know that about you, Dr. Witherspoon. So if they didn't know, we'll be a character reference.
Was anybody ask somebody, huh?
Did you always know that you wanted to serve in the public space, running for office?
I did, you know, and I think I said this before, when I was in junior high school, I saw Shirley Chisholm, the first African-American woman to be elected to Congress in New York City.
Right.
And that inspired me from the political way. And she ran for the president of the United States. She didn't win, but she did run.
Yes, she did.
And she would always say that if they won't give you a seat at the table, bring your own seat.
That's right. That's right.
And so she was a person that really done a lot of things in New York. And I was in junior high school, and I was very intrigued with someone running, never knowing that one day I may run for office. But I was very inspired by Shirley Chisholm.
Wow. So there was something about you that your subconscious didn't even connect with your future.
Yeah, I really connected with her, seeing her out there. And at that time in the 60s, it wasn't really popular for women to run, especially women of color.
Right.
But she ran and won and was the first.
Right.
You know, so that was huge.
Well, someone along the way, you were there, Shirley Chisholm. You were in a place, in a movement out there in Hamilton Township where it's diversifying socioeconomically, racially. So you're going to be the person that someone in the next 20 years is going to look to and say, I remember when Dr. Witherspoon ran for a seat and I want to follow her. Because I tell people I follow in the footsteps of Judge Maven, someone constantly who has broken barriers before me. I've come behind her. She hired me as her law clerk, and here I am. So we as women are always either leading the way or finding someone to identify with. And I know that there's going to be a young person out there who's going to look to you and look at your leadership and say, she was thorough, she was strong, she persevered, and she was first. And I want to be like her one day.
Absolutely. I believe that Committeeman Rodney Richard was the first African-American man.
He was.
To be in Hamilton Township. The first one. I'm the second African-American person, but the first woman.
Right.
That ran in that position. And I was looking at the history of our township, and it started like in the 1600s. Hamilton Township was formed. And so to go that many years and be the second Black in the entire township, I'm very proud that it wasn't just African Americans that voted for me. I had a diverse group of people that voted for me and that believed in me and believed in my message. So I'm representing all, but I'm very proud to be the first African American woman to be elected to Hamilton Township.
And we are proud of you. So you are the only person of color on the board, the 5-member board, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Are there any other women on the board, or are you the only woman?
Yes, committee woman Link.
Oh, Link.
Judy
right?
Link.
Judy Link.
Judy Link. She's on the board. So it's 2 women.
And 3 men?
Right now, 2 men. And we got 3 names in our packet of 3 men that will be presented to us that are going to be presented, and that we have to vote on one on tomorrow night. Gotcha. So it'll be 2 women on the board and 3 men.
Well, I definitely know that you are going to be, as Yolanda said, thorough. You're going to be a person who we can identify, that's going to be dignified and responsive and intelligent. So we don't have to cringe when they say, oh, Dr. Whittaker, oh my goodness, what is she going to say or do? We know we're never going to have that situation with you. And we're so proud. That's why we wanted to have you on here following up Dr. Kingsley. Let me ask you this question. What, as we review the legacy of Dr. King and reflect on the legacy of Dr. King, what are your thoughts on 2023, looking at what Dr. King has done? And are you pessimistic or optimistic going forward?
Being a minister, you know, I'm going to always be optimistic.
Mm-hmm.
There's always hope. You know, when Dr. King did what he done, led a great organization during the civil rights movement, we are now the benefactors of what they done back then and keeping the dream alive. And I said this on Saturday when I had Commissioner Stephanie Dixon on my radio show, that I understand by reading history, because I was too young to understand some of the things that happened during that particular time. But when I did ride the bus, I never rode on the back of the bus. I always voted because I understood that people died for us to have a right to vote. So I signed up when I was 18 years old, and I have never missed a time to vote because of the Voting Rights Act, and everything that they put together was very significant. They had a strategy. It wasn't just, you know, the dream and the speech. They had a strategy. They met, they were unified. And to me, African Americans were the strongest during that civil rights movement. Not that we don't have strong African Americans now, because we do, but I'm talking about as a movement. That movement was the strongest at that time, to me. So keeping that dream alive is being able to continue, maybe not in the same vein that Dr. King did, but doing what you can do to make your community to be a better place to live in.
Thank you so much, Dr. Witherspoon. We have about 6 or 7 minutes left. We want to give you a time for final thoughts before we have Yolanda do final thoughts in her stewardship here on our radio program. So give us your final thoughts, your final comments. And again, thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking your time to be with us. And we wish you all the luck and all the success over there in Hamilton Township.
I want to thank you so much for having me to be your guest. This is the first interview that I've had since I've been elected and sworn in. So there may be many more, but there's never a first.
Right, that's right.
So this is the first. And so I'm very thankful for that. I just want to tell people that we need to get involved in our communities. And I'm not saying that everybody has to run for a position, but we need to know what's going on at the school board. We need to be proactive, not reactive. Know what's going on in the planning board, what's going on in the county. We need to attend meetings. And then they have it now that you don't even have to attend the meeting. You can watch it on television and peruse it at your own time to stay abreast of what's going on in the community. So we're not at the place that we're always reacting, we're proactive. And hold our elected officials accountable. You know, if they're doing something good, tell them. If they're not doing something correctly or the way you think it should be done, let them know that too. It's not what you say, it's how you say it, and hold people accountable so we can make Atlanta County be the greatest place to live in. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Witherspoon. Godspeed and all of the best to you. And we're going to have you on again. And we appreciate you. Yolanda Melville, for the last time, but like Dr. Cupanini said, don't be surprised if we show up with a group with signs talking about Yolanda come back.
I am sentimental, so I'm not going to cry. But so I'll see you again. And, you know, I was just thinking of what Dr. Witherspoon just said. A testament of the work, the good work that you do, the service that you do is when you see others doing the work, people you admire out there being in the same place as you are. And I know you, Dr. Witherspoon, you are someone I see everywhere. So, and I want to thank you for your leadership. Thank you for you know, just smiling at me before we even knew each other. But, you know, as time goes on and people continue to give back, we find ourselves always in the same places, doing the same things, wanting to help people. I just want to say thank you to the audience. Thank you to the NAACP. I'm not gone forever, but I certainly am just going in a different capacity. And thank you, President, for your leadership. And I'll be right here with you. Phone call away.
Yolanda, thank you so much. As a person of words, it's hard for me to put into words what you meant to this program. It really doesn't seem like 4 years. I don't know about you. It doesn't seem like 4 years to me. I'm speaking for myself. It really, the time has flown, and we have really seen this program blossom into something. I think it has had an impact in our community. As Dr. Cupanini said, he deals with a lot of people in his practice, and people come in and say they've heard the program and it impacts them. And I see people, obviously, as an elected official, who actually are benefiting from the program. And you're right, radio is a unique tool. Dr. Witherspoon knows that. She's been on radio for a long time, because people can have the radio on in their car, at work, in their house, wherever, and it is something that's a trusted vehicle. Radio is trusted, and then if you are fortunate to have a brand that's trusted, and NAACP is a trusted brand, and we happen to be privileged to be leaders in that brand, and people, even people who disagree with some of the positions we take or some of the things we say, they still have trust in the NAACP, and they know that the NAACP means well for the best interest of people of color, and all people, but people of color specifically. And even if they don't agree, they understand that we are doing the work of benefiting our people and moving the country forward. So again, thank you, Yolanda, for all that you've done. And we're only half kidding about the demonstrations, but we'll be leaning on you, and good luck. And as you said, just for listeners, I don't want anybody to read anything negative into what Yolanda's saying. She's still going to be around. She's still going to be our legal redress officer for the Atlantic City branch NAACP. She's just stepping back for some of the many, many duties that she's had, and the things that she's juggling in the air, very successful. So I don't want people to say, oh, she's going to purgatory, or she's moving out of the country, or anything like that. She's still going to.
Or that you treated me badly, so I had to leave. I want to tell that rumor too.
Oh,
you treated me so badly. I mean, you still treated me badly, but not enough for me to leave.
I'm not even going to respond. I am still levitating over the King holiday. So all of the slights and slaps I'll just absorb. But we thank we really thank you. Thank the studio audience. Now the studio audience is still gonna have to work. She can't give up.
I'll let her know.
Yeah, let her know she's still on duty. And to those who are listening for the first time, please tune in. We're still going to be here. Your NAACP Speaks every Tuesday, 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. WEHA 88.7 and 100.3 FM, bringing you the special guests who have impacts in our community, talking about the NAACP goals, missions, programs, initiatives. And we look forward to having you with us. And when we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we always win. See you next week. God bless. Dr. Witherspoon, thank you. Yolanda Melville, thank you. Dr. Cupanini, thank you. Alexander Bland, registered nurse, thank you for your input.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night.
Good luck, Dr. Witherspoon, on tomorrow's meeting.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.